Yo, what up?
Nothing much.
All
What's
right,
up
all
with
right.
you?
Nothing.
That's good.
Reading some real dumb news.
Oh yeah, like what?
I don't know what it is lately. I don't know if you ever go and read Screen Rant articles.
I've seen Screen Rant articles. I can't say that I go and read them.
This is one of those sites where like they always have really good articles, but the problem with them is they editorialize so much stuff.
Okay.
Like there was an article I just got done reading and made me mad. Is they're talking about how the Star Wars shows on Disney Plus. I don't know why I said I had to explain Disney Plus. There's no other Star Wars shows. They rely on disappointing cameos, and I'm like, what's
Okay.
disappointing? So I don't.
What's the disappointing cameo this time? Because I will say that I am actually caught up with the exception of the newest episode on The Mandalorian. I caught up by mistake.
How do you catch up by mistake?
I thought the season was already done.
Oh, so you don't know how to
And
read? Gotcha. Okay.
yeah, so I thought the season was already done, and I got the those Hue play lights, and I was playing around with them, and I should say that not the Hue play lights, the Hue play sync
Yeah.
lights and box. For those who don't know, it's you can get a little box that connects in between your source and your TV, and then it sends a signal that displays the type of light that's on the sides near the sides of the TV. Uh, you can put a strip on the back of your TV, or you can have lights that are surrounding you. Either way, it's supposed to be more immersive, and also what do they call it? They call that light, that type of light, something.
Ambient.
And I'm ambient. It's ambient light, but it's also there was also another word. Basically, it made it so that you don't have such eye strain
Yeah. Basically,
when watching TV at night.
it alleviates the stress on your eyes from a light because it illuminates everything around it. So it's not like
Yeah,
a spotlight. It's more it softens everything for it.
yeah. And so like sci-fi shows, oh my god, some of like the space battles that happen, and like the are you caught up on it,
Oh no,
on
we
the
haven't
Mandalorian?
started yet.
Okay, there's just a large ground battle scene, and just to watch like the red and green shots go across the TV, but you see the it start, with the backlight of the TV, and then shoot across to the other side. And like it's just so fucking, it's fucking fun. So that's what I mean. Like I was looking for something to test out the lights, and I was like, oh, The Mandalorian. It's probably done with the season by now, and so I just sat there and binged it. And I was like, that was a short season. That's weird. And then a new episode came out yesterday. I'm like, oh, it's still going. Anyway, that's my explanation of how I accidentally caught up with The Mandalorian.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you. Anyway,
So I don't know I don't know if it's a spoiler because it has nothing to do with the story. But in the newest episode, there are three cameos that I know of because I haven't watched it yet, but I just read this article. Jack Black,
okay,
Lizzo,
okay,
and Christopher Lloyd all appear in this next episode.
okay.
So the article is talking about disappointing cameos, which I was like, well, that's weird. Like, what? Like, how are they disappointing? They're not disappointing because of who they are. It's because this person who's writing the story, which I will not mention his name because I think he's a troll and shouldn't have a job,
Wow.
says that it's disappointing that Star Wars has to rely on having stars cameo in it in these roles versus having actors in them.
I mean, for 99% of these shows, they're just actors. Plus, those
But
people are just actors.
the
So I don't
point
really
though
get.
is they're cameos, so why don't you have fun with them? You know what I mean? Why bring an actor in to do a role that's only going to appear once in an episode? Why not have a one-off of having a celebrity, as this person put it, come in and do like a cameo and then never be seen again? That's the fun of a cameo versus I mean, if you were an actor trying to get into a role or into a show, would you want to be a cameo? Would you want to be a
No,
one
I
episode
would want to be a
role?
recurring character.
Thank you.
Like as an actual actor, I'd want to be a recurring character. Yes.
So
But
it's
as somebody who's like Jack Black or something like that, who probably just loves Star Wars, and Jon Favreau was like, "Hey man, you want to? I have this role that really isn't doing anything. You want to just play it? Yeah, let's do it."
that's what I'm saying. Like this person doesn't like this. I mean, again, this person is just a human trash pot, but they don't understand that a cameo would not help an upcoming actor or an actor who's not already an established like famous face be anything more than just, oh, that guy was in an episode of Mandalorian. I don't remember him or her
Technically, it's
or
not
them.
even a cameo at that point. It's
Yeah.
just a job for that actor.
Yeah, I mean that's like being an extra. Like you may not even be in focus most of the time. Like
Yeah.
why would you want that? Why wouldn't you want a more of a recurring role to be able to be in 2, 3, 4, 5 episodes of a show that you could get your face and name out there versus a throwaway scene or one episode that has nothing to do with the plot of the show. It's just a cameo, like a flash in the pan.
Mm-hmm.
It made me so mad. I was like, why?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I was like, you don't understand what cameos are. Cameos are exactly what that is.
Yeah, they're not meant to be recurring characters.
Yeah. I'm like, it's like, and he referenced Boba Fett and talked about how they had cameos of like the Mandalorian and Ahsoka and Luke. I'm like, those aren't cameos.
Because they were integral to the part of the story and
Yeah.
their own stories.
Yeah, they are part of this bigger world. They're linking Boba Fett's story to the overarching Mandalorian story and Ahsoka story going forward. That's not a cameo. Those are interlaced characters that are pushing plot.
Literally, that's a crossover. Like, if we're being semantic about all this stuff, it's a crossover.
Yeah. And I was like, I hate this person, and I wish I somehow could block that person's articles from ever showing up on my news ever again.
That would be interesting. Apple News gives you like the ability to not only filter by like website, but also by the person writing the article.
Yeah, like just give me the option to have that person's name never populate on my news articles again, because that person makes me so mad. That's like the people who like talk about plot holes in movies.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, there are movies that have plot holes. I get it, but there are some movies when people talk about plot holes that aren't plot holes, because plot holes are something that like take away from the story, not that aren't explained to you. If you have to have everything explained to you, then you should probably read a book. You know what I mean? Like if you have to, it's just something that like if you don't realize what's happening in the movie, right? Like I'll say, for example, Megan has tons of plot holes because it's a terribly made movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it was probably written way better, but there's no way that it doesn't have plot holes. It's filled with them. It's like it might as well just be movie Swiss cheese at that point. But when you say stuff like, I remember reading one, and actually it might even been from Screen Rant, probably the same fucking idiot, that said in the Batman, the Matt Reeves Batman with Pattinson, that it was a plot hole that there was an orphanage set up in the old Wayne Manor.
How's that a plot hole?
Thank you. They explain that in the movie. If you pay attention, that's what ties the Riddler to the Waynes.
Mm-hmm.
Because he felt that he was having their success and money thrown in their face because they gave up their old mansion for the orphans.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that literally explains your plot hole. I was like so mad, and I was like, I hate these people so much. But yeah, Screen Rant editorializes so much on their articles. Not all of them, but a very, very large amount of them. And it makes me so mad because they have access to some really good articles, and then they just get ruined by these journalists deciding to write things. But
I understand you.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
But other than my angry rant about people, writing articles. What's up, Joe? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Doing a whole lot right now, but yeah,
Yeah. How's your staycation going?
not too bad.
Yeah.
You know,
Catching up on the video games and apparently Mandalorian by accident.
yeah, catching up on video games. Playing a video game that I finished 3 years ago.
Yeah, but it has new
I will
stuff in it.
say, what?
It has new stuff in it.
It does have new stuff in it, and when patch 1.6 came out, I did all that stuff. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff, excuse me, that they added to it that I wasn't able to finish in, like, literally 20 minutes, so it was a little bit disheartening. But I will say, there is still stuff in that game that I've run across that's probably been there since launch, and I never saw it or noticed it. The main reason why I've been going back and playing it is I've always wanted to, even when I first started the game, I wanted to finish collect the iconic weapons for the game. And one of the reasons why is because if you've never played the game, in V's apartment, V is the main character of the game. He has a extra room in his apartment for weapons. Really, it's kind of just like your stash room where you can go in and you can stash stuff that you don't want to be carrying with you all the time. But there are certain weapons that when you throw them into the stash will go up on the wall of this room. So I've always wanted to finish those 3 walls technically.
Yeah.
Of weapons. So every once in a while I'll pop back in and I'll look up like where to find the next weapon, blah blah blah, and I'll go after it. But I've also been doing like all the iconic weapons, because not all the iconic weapons will go up on the wall. Some of them won't. But there are ones that I was going through yesterday that I totally just walked by in the main game and never knew that they were there. There was one that I was going after. I can't even remember what the name of it was, but it's in this club called Clouds or something like that. First off, I thought it was locked off to me. By the way, I found out now as well that there are some of these weapons that are locked off to me because you had to get them at certain points in the game.
Oh yeah.
And if you miss them, you missed them completely, or certain choices that you made. Like I'll never be able to get Jackie's guns because of the choice that I made with his death, which really sucks. But going back through and trying to like get some of these iconic weapons, like I'm going back through the Clouds place, which I thought that I was locked out of because none of the entrances were open. Then I finally found a third entrance that I didn't even know about that existed, that I was able to get into the place and wander around, and it took me a long time to finally find the weapon. And I found it, and I'm just like, how did I miss this? Like, I know I was going through this area just shooting everything in sight, but like, how the hell did I miss this weapon here? This whole room, really. And then leaving, I found another legendary item that I have no idea what even it does. It's a purse of one of the main characters. And it's like, the fuck? Going to another area, going back to a place called a Ripper Doc named Fingers, which I know you really haven't gotten very far into the game, so I really won't spoil it. The dude's a piece of trash. I was going after one of his. He has an iconic weapon called the Cane or something like that, which is literally, again, like I played through this area, and I literally just walked by it. It's just laying there on a couch.
Hell yeah.
So you just go in there, and you just pick it up. But while I was going in there, I noticed that there's a ton of stuff there that, because you can scan stuff to get more information on things. Once you've scanned it, though, it grays out and you know that you've already scanned it. But there's a ton of shit that I never even scanned in this area. And Johnny even pops up a couple of times to comment on things. And I was like, holy shit, I haven't seen Johnny in like a fucking year. you know, uh, or like I didn't know about all the Carrie side quests. So again, you haven't really gotten far into the game. Carrie was a character that was part of Johnny's band back when Johnny was still alive and whatnot. So like 30, 40 years previous in the game's history. I can't remember. But like logging back on every once in a while, it'll just throw like a random text message from somebody or the Carrie missions. Like I had no idea. Like I completed those like last year or something like that, not knowing that those were timed missions that were supposed to come out, you know, as you played the game, because I finished it kind of so fast that they never popped up when I originally played. So I finished those, you know, last year. So it's just interesting to go back and just be like, oh, there are still few things. Like the map is so big, you're just walking past half, you know, a lot of the stuff, not realizing it's there. And being able to see this stuff for the first time is really cool. And I can't wait for Phantom Liberty to come out. Supposedly, they're in a couple of weeks. They're going to be announced. They tweeted that they're going to make an announcement sometime this month. I don't remember when. Hopefully, it says exciting news. Chooms in June will start to share more information about Phantom Liberty expansion. So stay tuned. That was posted on March 30th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't wait for that. The only thing that sucks, as we've talked about before, is that it's not going to be available on previous gen consoles. So I'm probably not going to be able to play it. Technically, technically I do have a...
Yeah, I was saying, you have an
Series
S.
S. I have a Series S, but is it really good enough? Is it really?
It should be able to play that, I believe.
I mean, it should be able to, but is it? It's one of those things of where is it good enough?
I believe. I mean, should be. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's listed as the game. I would just pull it up. It's listed as being available for the Series X and S.
Oh yeah, I know.
Well,
just that
that's what this says. Who knows when it actually comes out? Because we may find out that it doesn't. Who knows?
Well, it has to. Like Microsoft made it one of those things. Like if you're going to release a game, you can't say that you're going to release it for the Series X only.
Yeah.
It has to work on the Series S. I'm just saying, like the experience, because it's not as powerful as a Series X, might be a little bit dumbed down on it. Like my One X might be almost as powerful as the Series S. Is what I'm getting at. You know.
I don't know, man. Those processors are a little bit newer.
Oh, they are. They definitely are. But anyway, so that's what I've been doing. Going back and playing a little bit of Cyberpunk.
That's cool.
Yeah. Saw you playing Halo.
Yeah, I played Halo. I jumped back in to see where the hell I was at, and I forgot how to play that game.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I keep... So, my problem is... The controls are very, very similar to Destiny.
I can imagine.
But I keep hitting the wrong button for melee.
Mm-hmm.
So in Destiny, when you want to melee, just don't worry about Destiny. In Halo, when you do the grapple thing and you grapple someone and you swing at them, usually there's you press a button to do a melee attack to him, but you have to hit in on the right thumbstick to do it, which I forgot that was the melee button in Halo. So I kept going up and hitting like B, and that didn't punch people. I just ran into them, and then I was like panicking at one point. I don't know why. I was just like, oh god, what am I going to do with this guy that's coming at him? And I threw a grenade. Problem was, it was a plasma grenade. And it stuck to his face and then blew us both up.
Yeah.
And I did forget how ultimately squishy you are. Like,
yeah,
you can't take a whole lot of damage.
No.
Especially from larger
shield,
things.
But it doesn't always feel like that shield does much more than absorb 2 shots.
If you're lucky, 2 shots. Yeah, it's like, oh man. maybe instead of like, worrying about grappling and things like that, maybe we should worry about shields more.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems like the elites have way better shields than I do.
Oh, right. They just bullet sponges.
I'm like, can I have that?
But then again, that goes back to like how you're kind of supposed to play the game, where you're like, oh, he's got shields, so I'm supposed to have an energy weapon because an energy weapon is better against shields. So you take his shields out with the energy weapon, then you switch to like something with bullets.
Then give me a third weapon slot.
But right, you're only ever supposed to have 2.
And your ammo reserves are so drastically short.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get like the what do they call them, the signature weapons or whatever?
Yeah, I think they're called signature weapons.
And some of them have less ammo than their regular counterpart.
Yeah, but they look cooler and they do some pretty awesome stuff too.
Yeah,
like, don't get me wrong, some of them are kind of not great. But there is one that you can get later in the game, and I cannot remember what it's called. But it's basically a one-shot kill. Like, it takes out everything in one shot.
That's cool.
But it only has, like, to your point, it only has, like, 5 shots. And it doesn't take, like, regular ammo.
Yeah.
It only takes the special ammo. So you never are gonna pick up the special ammo. So once you're done with it, you're done with it.
Yeah. And this is another thing, too, is some of the... one of the weapons that it comes to mind really, really quickly that I would love to use more often, but its 2 failings are A, doesn't have very deep ammo reserves, and B, its primary shot, like so a lot of weapons have 2 different shot modes, and to switch them you have to use the ADS button, which is A, super annoying, because you want to ADS some of these things, but you can't because it switches the fire type. And the one I'm talking about is the Hydra, which is the little handheld, I call a rocket shotgun.
Okay.
So in its normal mode, it just dumbfires rockets, which is cool, except for enemies move. So its secondary one locks on.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're trying to hit like a Banshee flying in the air, you can't ADS it to try to get a better lock on. You just have to kind of wing it from hip. Because if you hit the ADS button, it shoots the dumbfire. Which would only be good for like a large object that doesn't really move, which in this game doesn't happen too often, because even like the Scorpion tanks, I think they're not the Scorpion tanks. What are the bad guy tanks called? Doesn't matter. Those ones, they shift left to right pretty easily, so they'll just move out of the way of a dumbfire rocket.
Scorpion is the human.
Yeah.
Phantom?
Is it the Phantom? I
Because
can't
the
remember.
ghosts are the
Ghosts are the
ships. The Banshees are the flying ones.
Yep.
And Wraiths.
Wraiths. Okay, yeah. So I'm like, that's a dumb thing. Like, I would rather have like it shoot a burst of rockets that are dumb than just one at a time as an alternate firing mode. Like, just dump all like 6 rockets. That'd be dope, because it'd be like splash damage and be easier to hit things. But and then there's the one of the dumbest weapons I keep getting, and I keep forgetting it's trash, is an energy weapon that shoots like a line of shots, and it either goes vertically or horizontally, but it doesn't seem to affect energy shields the same as like other energy weapons do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why is this thing so terrible but looks so cool?
I stuck to like early on in the game. I stuck to your basic weapons, and only in certain areas would I switch to other weapons. So like if it were in like corridor areas, I would have like a shotgun or something like that. But
Yeah.
I didn't play around with a whole lot of the different weapons up until the very end, where I got. I went through and killed all of the generals or the named enemies in the certain areas to get their weapons, and then I found that one weapon that was basically, it was like playing laser tag in Destiny, where you're just basically point and kill. That's what it was. It was point and kill, and I loved that thing. It was so much fun, but it had such limited ammo that I'd like save it for bosses and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah,
How far are you into the game?
I trying to remember exactly where it's at. So I'm taking down. I just took down the beacons. There's four,
Okay. There's
four.
four.
Yeah, four
Three of
beacons.
them.
So you
Three or four.
you
Yeah.
do that big tower mission where you like go up the tower and kill that dude in the top, and then you can like yeet off the top, which is like the most satisfying thing ever. Because like no, I can't take a couple shots of a plasma rifle, but I can jump from the highest point and not take any damage. So
That is the fun thing about this game is finding out that there's no fall damage.
yeah, it's super dope.
Yeah.
But the other thing too, the other thing that bothers me is how limited length the grapple hook really is.
Have you upgraded it all the way?
It's fully upgraded. The charge rate is the best thing they did to it because it doesn't have nearly the range that I would want it to. Because there's like certain points where like to traverse from one section that has like little chasm between it, you just can't get close enough, and Master Chief can't jump.
Yeah.
To save his fucking life.
It weighs 1,000 pounds, so yeah.
Yeah, but dude, come on. You like just give me like a booster jet thing, like a double jump. That'd be dope.
Like he technically does have, because you can get the dodge ability, which is literally boosters.
Yeah, but like you can't have it on also. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's the other thing that limits you too, is you get all these cool things you can upgrade, but like you can only use like.
I have to know to switch between them. And
Yeah.
by the time I realized, because there is a couple of boss battles where it's like, oh shit, I should have equipped the one thing that helps me detect enemies in my area. It might help me out, but by the time I realize that, I'm either dead or like stuck in the middle of a battle and I can't really switch.
Yeah, like these things should be things you could like. You should have multiple skills like you should be able to use.
Yeah.
Very easily, but you can't. And the other thing too about switching grenades, bro, it's so hard to do mid-fight.
You just don't. I do the same thing in Cyberpunk, or pretty much any game that I've ever played where they give you multiple grenades. It's just like I don't really pay attention to it. I just keep throwing stuff until it does most damage.
Yeah, like I'll go through grenades because I'm like, well, I know I have plasma grenades in here somewhere, and I don't want to stop and go through a stupid menu, so I'm just gonna keep chucking grenades, and eventually I'm gonna get to one that actually does more damage or is useful in the moment, you know?
Yeah, because it's not like it slows in games like that. It's not like it slows down time for you to be able to like, okay, I'm trying to pick this thing, so I'm pulling up a weapon wheel, and then like grabbing this and doing that. Yeah. No, it's more like, because again, Cyberpunk is like that too. It's like if I wanted to switch grenades on the fly, it's not like it's going to slow down time for me to switch those grenades. No, I have to remember, okay, what's the grenade switch button? It's this, and then I have to cycle through what grenades, and I have to look at the grenades, in the lower left-hand corner while also dealing with whatever's in front of me. Yeah, it's not the most easy thing to do. Yeah, so you just sit there and throw things until you get the outcome that you want.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even look at it anymore. I just throw a grenade and be like, hopefully it does damage.
We still have to play multiplayer on that because they did finally add that this past December, January.
Yeah, I saw in the menu. I know we talked about it previously in when we were actually in person together talking about games. And I actually saw it on the screen. It says invite friends. I was like, oh shit, there it is. It's real. It's a thing now that should have been on launch.
Right. So maybe as a single player experience, this is something we could play together with everybody and have fun.
Yeah, because it was.
Since what I like, I still don't know exactly how it works, but I know, as I've said in person, that I've finished the game. So if we play together and we go to a forward operating base, an FOB, I can scroll through all of the weapons that I've unlocked. So that means that I could literally get one of the laser beams that is basically one shot, one kill, and then give it to you. And then we can just play like that. Or
now,
I've unlocked all of the
signature weapons.
Not only the signature weapons, no, I fully upgraded all of the FOBs.
Oh.
So I've unlocked the what was it called? They have that airship, the jet in Halo.
Oh
The
yeah,
the single,
the human version of the Banshee.
yeah, which is pretty awesome and an awesome way to get around the map. So like I could literally just spawn one for you and then spawn one for me, and then you just break the game because it's that ship alone just breaks the fucking game. That's why it takes so long to get it. But it's so much fun to the Wasp. No,
I can't remember. Yeah, it might be the or the Hornet.
Hornet something.
I
I
don't
don't
remember.
remember.
I remember seeing about it. Yeah. That's what I was doing, and then I realized I should probably beat the campaign and go back and do that stuff because like I spent so much time finding the USN nodes and the propaganda things and the high value targets that I literally forgot what I was doing. Like when I came back and played, I was like, "What am I doing again?"
Yo, where was I?
I was like, I remember, I was like, I beat that big tower thing. So because I walked in, I was like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to go, right? Because that's where the marker's at. And I went there and I was like, no, there's no one alive here. Like they're all dead. And I was like, wait, this is the tower I jumped off of. Okay, so it's not where I need to go. I was like,
What was the button that I need to hit in order to find out where I needed to go next?
yeah, exactly. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Yeah, so then I was just fucking around at that point. Then I was like, oh, I'll work my way towards one of the beacons, and then I'll kill everything of interest in between there and then I'll see what I go from there. And then I realized I forgot how fucking hard that game is when you're by yourself.
It can be.
Because all of a sudden, any squishy humans you bring with you just die almost instantly.
Fun fact about those guys, though, and I've seen maybe you've seen it on YouTube. It's fucking hilarious. You can switch weapons with those guys.
Yeah, I know.
So you can sit there at an FOB and give all of those guys like that laser weapon, or all of them like missile launchers, and they have infinite ammo.
Yep.
So I've literally seen people drive. They'll spawn a. It's one of the warthogs, but with the it has seats instead of the.
Yeah, it's the troop one.
It's the troop one, and they will then load up all of the Marines around them with those lasers or missiles or anything. Get them all loaded up into the warthog, and then just drive around, and it's just a fucking death machine going around, killing things instantly. It's
Nice.
fucking hilarious to watch, and it literally in some cases has like will cause game consoles to chug
Hell yeah.
because it's so much is happening at once and so much death and destruction is happening. It is fucking awesome to watch. So if you haven't seen it, I highly suggest just looking up that type of stuff on YouTube. It's fucking fun to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, like it just, that game screams multiplayer, like co-op from the get-go, and like it just, there's some of them where, bro, it's just so almost like borderline impossible to do it by yourself, because as soon as you're spotted by anybody, every gun gets pointed at you, and it's unrelenting.
That was the worst thing about that game is I feel like I could be 3 miles off of where I'm going, and somehow one guy spots me and just with his handgun is able to pick me off from like 3 miles away.
Yeah.
And it's just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. There's like a lot of things I wish you could change in that game. One is multiplayer should have been from the launch, but that's whatever. The deeper ammo reserves, because I mean, you're saying like Master Chief weighs 1,000 pounds, right? Like he could carry way more ammo than he does.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever, right? Like even if it was an upgrade, like upgrade your armor and to be able to hold more ammo, that'd be fucking tits, right? But the thing about like the squishy humans, right? Yeah, they're squishy humans, so they die pretty easily. But also they can't go where you can when you're traversing, so you have to go along the paths, and it takes forever.
Yes.
And if you go too fast, they just get bored and just walk away.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish I could be like, hey, pinpoint an area, like this is on my map. This is the waypoint, right? and then I get them, and they lock onto me with their little dots turn solid. They should then be going towards that. Like there should be something in the game that says, "Hey, we're gonna meet Master Chief there, and go there," and then I could get there quicker, and then they would show up and be my support just for like a little bit.
Because that's all they're good for is just a little bit of support.
Yeah, like, bro.
They try.
Yeah.
They really do try their hardest.
I did watch a Marine walk up and point blank a sniper rifle at a grunt, or at a what's the big dudes with the overly powerful armor with the stuff that hangs out?
Oh, the big blue and
brutes.
Guys, the
brutes.
Well,
no,
the brutes
not,
are
not brutes.
The
ape ones.
Other faction. Yeah.
No, what's the big dude that have
Hunters?
Hunters. Yeah. Walks up and points this sniper rifle at the hunter and shoots like 3 times. Hunter is of course shooting at me and then realizes he's being hit and just yeets this motherfucker like gone. Like I was like, I think it was a mist, and like you see the sniper rifle fall and like what's left of the body just flying off the map, and I was like,
bro,
okay.
You don't get that close to hunters, yeah.
Well, A, don't get that close to hunters. B, don't get that close to hunters with only a sniper rifle. Sit back, dude, and choose your shots, bro. Like, this dude who ran in there, and I was like, all right, brother, peace out. Have a good afterlife.
Yeah, when you get those guys and they have a battle with the enemy around you, it is pretty cool, but they are so squishy and so dumb sometimes. Like, I've literally, I remember going to rescue the whatever UNSC group there was near me. So I'd go in and free them, and they'd pick up their weapons, and by the time the battle was finished, they were all dead. So it was like, well, that was pointless.
Yeah.
But whatever, the game, said, hey, you freed them, so good job.
Yeah, I was like, all right, that's cool.
But it would be fun to play through that game with co-op and see how it is.
That's probably way better.
It probably is. Like you said, there are certain sections for some reason just the difficulty ramps up really hard and stupid for some reason, and it's just even in the open world. There are times where I've just been traveling from one place to another, and suddenly just a shit ton of brutes just drop in, and if it doesn't kill me on the drop, then they just annihilate me because they came out of nowhere and surprised me. And it's like, what the fuck was that? Reload and then go a slightly different way, or now I'm prepared for them? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, he's going after a high value target, and he's in one of the fucking enemy tank thingies. And I was like, and granted, that thing fires way too well. Like,
I remember that one, yeah.
And
it's like, problems with that one,
bro. Like, I had to get the fucking ghost and just like buzz around. Not ghost. What's the
Banshee?
What's the one that stays on the ground?
The ghost is the one.
Is the ghost, right? Yeah, ghost Banshee is the one that's in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I was like in that, just trying to take out the tank, because you can't, once you get the energy shield down and you kill the dude behind it, the tank still drives around with the turret. And I was like, wait, hold on, what?
Yeah, because there's two things in that. There's the pilot, and then there's basically the gunner, and he's the gunner in that tank. Yeah. And at one point, I was doing a different version. Once I beat that one after dying like 50 fucking times in a row. Yeah, I remember having problems with that one as well.
I was going towards one of the beacons, and I run into an area that has one of those just in the way, and going there, and I was like, great, awesome, I get to do this again. And I was like, oh, you know what I could do is I could hit him with like the little shot grenade thingy that I have, and then I could attach myself to it and then just beat his ass. You can't. You don't just jump and hijack it. You have to sit there and beat on it. But the turret can shoot you still.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is useless. And then, like, for some reason the game was like broken. I couldn't get off of the tank, and I couldn't hit mash and hit melee. He was just riding it, and I kept dying over, and I'm like, why is this broken? And eventually I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to get one of the ghosts and just fucking shoot it a bunch because this makes no sense.
Yeah, by that time in the game, I was either exclusively riding around in a ghost because it was some parts like that in particular, because I think I did the same thing, were so difficult that I would try and stay as far as I can or could with just the ghost. Try and take out some of the other things around it, because if I recall right, that one guy also had like 2 or 3 ghosts around him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like, okay, I have to take out the ghost first, and then I try and take out the tank all from afar, because it was just so much happening if you got way too close. Or eventually, once I unlocked it, I was just riding around in the Scorpion, just taking things out from afar. Like, okay, there's a Wraith over there. Just aim, coon, 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 and finally destroy it. And then I'd move up a little bit around a rock or something like that. Okay, there's another Wraith right there. Boom, boom. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So there was unnecessarily just difficulty spikes in that game, and I get it. Like, it's a game; it's supposed to be a little bit more difficult, but like the open world sometimes was just more of an annoyance to get through sometimes.
Yeah, it was just. I was like, bro, please, please, why is this so hard?
Mm-hmm.
On a different note, Joseph.
Okay.
So I sent a lot of trailers this week. Taj sent one too.
I mean, a shit ton of trailers came out this
Yeah,
week.
dude, it was just a fucking litany of shit this week. It was pretty rad. We won't go over all of them, just because there were so many. But obviously, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse part, or Across the Spider-Verse, Around the Spider-Verse. Yeah, whatever it is, part 1. The full trailer came out, which was really dope. There's a couple things in there that were just ridiculous, because like they straight up mention Doctor Strange and Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Did they? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
okay.
dude. So Miles goes to the fucking Spider Club, right, with all the different Spider-Mans, which is super dope just to see all the ones they threw in there, because like might as well throw them all in there, right?
Right.
And he goes up to talk to Spider-Man 2099, voiced by Oscar Isaac, as we know. And he says, "Don't get me started on that Doctor Strange and that little dweeb from Earth 1999 or whatever it was." And I was like, "Did you just do that?" And I was like, these are supposed to be separate, but
Nope.
okay.
Apparently not. I mean, multiverse.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, I'm okay with it. Like, I don't give a fuck. I say bring them all in. I don't give a shit.
Right.
But that trailer is pretty dope and just chaotic as fuck. I mean, it was just bonkers how crazy that shit was.
Mm-hmm.
So just this week alone, let's see. Let's see, where is it? We had the Secret Invasion trailer, Extraction 2 trailer, Blue Beetle, the announcement of a live action Moana, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, the Barbie trailer. Even they called it a teaser trailer, but like it
was a full-on trailer.
Yeah. I think it was all the big ones that came out. There was other ones I didn't even like send you guys because I don't know if they really bounce around.
I'm trying to remember, because there's even ones that I remember seeing, but I know I saw some other trailers. I don't remember what they were for.
Yeah.
And I swear they have the Blue Beetle trailer, but I swear they launched like 2 or 3 different trailers at the same time for it as well.
Yeah, I just saw that. I know that I saw that one.
There was something else.
Evil Dead Rises 96% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, the ticket announcement one.
The ticket announcement one.
And then they did a couple different teasers for like little shits or whatever.
I'm going back through our text messages and I don't see anything else after the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's the only ones I saw. Really. But like, there was like trying to think of the other ones I've seen.
I mean, I know in general I've been seeing more trailers for that horror movie as well with Gladiator.
Oh, the Pope's Exorcist, or
Yeah,
the Pope's Exorcist.
The Pope's Exorcist
Blah, blah, blah.
as well. Not that it's just another trailer that I've saw. Not that it's a movie that I'm really looking forward to.
I am. Ooh, looks fucked up.
It looks fucked up. I'm not saying that I don't necessarily want to watch it. It's just like it's not like the Marvel movies or anything else. It was just a one-off trailer.
Yeah.
The Mario movie. They launched another. It said it was the first 4 minutes, but then I realized later because I watched it 4 days later, which was yesterday. And if you count back 4 days earlier than yesterday, would have been right around April Fool's Day. They showed like the first 4 minutes of the Mario movie. So we have basically a new trailer for that.
Oh, speaking of that, do you want to go see that today, Joe?
No.
Okay.
I mean, not that I don't want to go see it, but I don't want to go see it today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think we might go see it today. That's why I'm saying that.
Oh, okay. Well, have fun. No,
Okay.
I got something else I need to do today. Also, nothing I need to do today.
I know there's other stuff I saw too. But basically, getting back to what we were actually talking about, was the stuff that we sent. But I had a point I was going towards, and now I don't want to know what it was.
There was a lot of trailers that came out. We listed the number of the trailers that we saw.
Oh, that's what it was. So the announcement of the Moana live action movie.
Okay.
It's apparently it's a reimagination of the movie. I don't know. The Rock was saying a bunch of stuff and he was flexing. It was distracting. But that sounds pretty cool. So they announced that, right? But then today I saw, and I didn't know this was a thing. Apparently it's been talked about for a while. Is a live action Minecraft movie.
Okay.
And it's apparently got like a release date.
I don't know how a live action one would work. I can definitely see them doing a CG.
Well, live action I think it has real people in it, like live action people with like,
well, that's what I'm
CG
still
environments.
getting at. Like, I can see them doing the Mario movie. Like, I can't see them doing Mario Brothers, a live action version, but I can see them doing a Mario movie.
Yeah, but this is apparently a live action Minecraft movie starring Jason Momoa.
I'm conflicted, obviously, because I do like me some Jason Momoa.
That's what I'm saying, man.
But I don't understand how a live action Minecraft will work.
So, I don't know if you know this or not, but there are several novels written within the, like, actual real novels, not like graphic novels, like legit, like novels.
I can't say that I knew that there were novels. I know that there is a version of Minecraft that has a story to it. But again, just knowing what Minecraft is, I don't understand how you're going to do that live action.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Again, I can see it being like the Lego movie, a CG, off the wall type of fun movie, but to have real squishy people in it, I don't understand how you're going to do that. Are they going to have pickaxes and just like be able to pick cubes out of things and then make stuff out of the stuff that they get from the cubes? Like, I don't understand how they're going to do what they're going to do with that.
Well, so the novels, from what I got from this, is this is going to be based on one of the stories from the novels, so it has a narrative versus just an open world where you create stuff.
Well, again, like, I understand that.
But it's just weird that, like, it's not like it's coming out next week. It's coming out in like 2025, so there's plenty of time to not happen. But it's just weird that that's coming out, and Actually, Max Brooks, who Joe may remember that name.
Yes, I do remember that name.
He has written several of the novels. I don't know if any of his stuff is being used for this, but reading this article, I found out some more information that I didn't know. Because again, I didn't know this was happening. Apparently, Sean Levy and Rob McElhaney were attached to do a movie, and like that was supposed to come out this last year, that never happened.
Okay, they were supposed to do a Minecraft movie that never happened.
Yeah, like Sean Levy and Rob McElhaney, like from like Rob
It's Always
McElhaney.
Sunny.
Yeah,
And the other show they does for Apple TV, which is really good.
Mythic Quest.
Mythic Quest. There we go.
yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Then in April of 2022, a report surfaced that Jason Momoa would be attached alongside Napoleon Dynamite director Jared Hess. I'm so confused what's happening with this movie. Besides, like, how you're adapting this into I could see you're basing a story inside a Minecraft world with, like, I guess breakable worlds. I don't know how that works. I haven't read any of the novels because I'm not a child.
But it gives me a little bit of hope that it's written by Max Brooks.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure, because he wrote them for his kids, because his kids, he said this, when this is years ago when I first found out he was writing novels from, like, his kids love Minecraft, just like all kids love Minecraft, right? And some adults who aren't adults. His kids loved it, and he wanted a way to connect with them, but all of his other stuff he's written, World War Z, for example, not exactly kid-friendly, right? It's just not. So he wanted a way to do this, so he then basically pitched an idea, and he's written a few of them now, I think, like 2 or 3. But they're more kid-friendly novels, like like young adult novels or whatever.
I imagine, yeah.
But it does make me very interested in obviously there's a lore and stuff that's in the world that I don't know of, because there's probably like story mode and whatever. I tried playing it, but it's just way confusing, and like the fact that you can just keep digging for no reason. But I digress. So it's interesting to see what they do, but like knowing that there's like real people behind it is interesting. Because obviously it's more of going to be like the Mario movie is, where it's like it's a story that takes place in the world of Mario versus like an adaptation of one of the video games. You know what I mean? Because like the video games, they have a narrative on the later ones, but they're like very loose narratives just so they can have gameplay. You know what I mean? Like the newer Mario world or Mario games, it's still just like, let's save the kingdom from Koopa or whatever, right?
Yeah.
This is obviously gonna be like, I haven't seen the movie yet, and I don't know the plot, but I just know that obviously Mario and Luigi get pulled into this fantastical world where they become heroes and have to fight against Bowser and Bowser's army for whatever reason.
Only one of them does.
What do you mean? Only one of them does?
So the way the plot goes, actually, and I read about, I read an interview somewhere with someone that was involved in the movie. I don't remember if it was one of the actors or if it was one of the director or whatnot. But basically, they didn't want to necessarily go into the Mario movie and go, oh, okay, Princess Peach gets captured. Let's have Mario and Luigi go after her and get her back. They decided to flip it on its head, and it's actually Luigi that gets captured. Mario then has to go in to get his brother, and runs into Princess Peach along the way, and those two team up to go rescue Luigi.
Oh, that's rad. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different than what your typical Mario story is of damsel in distress. It's actually Luigi that gets captured.
Good. I actually like that more.
Yeah.
I do know that I haven't read what it is. I do know there's an after credits or mid credits scene that teases a sequel.
Oh yeah, no, there was another interview, and I didn't talk about it last week. That was done with at least Chris Pratt. I don't remember if Charlie Day was in on it as well, but Chris Pratt had mentioned that there is a thing at the end of the movie that hopefully would tease another sequel, depending on how well this one does. But he had also mentioned that there has been in the works for a while that they wanted to adapt Luigi's Mansion to a movie. So if this does well, we could also get Luigi's Mansion.
That's awesome.
Movie.
Like a Luigi centric movie. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Because I loved Luigi Mansion games.
I've only played one of them for a little bit, and I will admit that it was actually relatively fun.
Yeah. No, it's real fun.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's dope as hell. So I'm kind of excited. Yeah, the thing I saw, I didn't read the article because I didn't want to spoil it, just said that post credit scene teases sequel with fan favorite character. So I'm guessing it's probably like Wario or Waluigi or something like that.
You could definitely do something like that.
Well, just
I was
because
also
like
thinking of Rosalina.
Oh yeah, it could be
character that doesn't get a whole lot of gameplay, but I know is a fan favorite.
Yeah, because like I was like, well, I mean, obviously, like you need to bring in the evil versions of them at one point because it can't just be
Bowser the whole entire time.
Yeah, I mean, it could be because like that's obviously the games, but like they have so much more they could do where they could have like a evil fucking Mario and Luigi, obviously called Wario and Waluigi.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'm actually excited to watch it because I do think it looks good, and I'm not a hater like all these other people. I'm like, oh, blah blah blah.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to watch it as well. Especially after watching, go and find it. It's supposedly the first 4 minutes of the movie. It doesn't really spoil a whole lot, and it doesn't feel like the first 4 minutes of the movie.
It's something about Peach's training or something.
No, it feels very cut up. It's scenes that we have. For the most part, it's scenes that we've already seen. Like it begins with the giant Bowser palace going towards that
Penguin Kingdom
and landing, and he blows the fire and stuff like that. But then it does cut back to Brooklyn, and very much so like the Mario Brothers movie, where it's the two who are actually plumbers.
Yeah,
and it's very weird because it feels cut up. It doesn't feel like the first 4 minutes of the movie. It feels like there's more stuff in there. Because it goes very fast, and it feels like okay, this scene suddenly cut, and it now is doing this, and then it's doing this all of a sudden. So I honestly do hope the first 4 minutes of the movie are not like this.
Because that'd be very bad.
But there is funny parts in it where it shows like they made a commercial for their business, but it's like that low budget local commercials that you would get.
Yeah, I've seen that through the teaser
like
stuff.
That, and it's that funny, but then you hear like the Mario music is what they're using for the music of the commercial, and it looks like the original, or I shouldn't say original, but it looks like the artwork from Mario Brothers 3 that they're using on the commercial. It's actually pretty funny. I highly suggest going and looking it up and watching it once we're done here.
I might just do that, sir. I might just do that. All right, last thing before we wrap up, because I do want to talk about this because I think it's pretty rad. So Joe Rogan did an interview with Hollywood Reporter, and he basically talked about how they recorded the voices for the new Turtles movie.
Okay.
So whoever doesn't know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is a new movie coming out. People are like, oh, it's like they're trying to do a Into the Spider-Verse with the Turtles. I'm like, well, might as well, because the animation was dope, and this looks rad as well too. And yeah, they're changing stuff, like they're aging down the Turtles, and April is not a reporter. What doesn't matter to me? I don't care. It just looks like fun, but there's a fuck ton of people in it. But what this article is about is actually how they've recorded the voice acting. So unlike most animated things where you use voiceover, you are a dude in a booth or lady in a booth, and you just read your lines to a playback of other things, right? Nah, homie. They brought it one step further, and they do recording with actual other people. So they do group recordings. So they record a whole scene with everybody who's in the scene.
Okay.
So if the 4 turtles are in a scene together, they're recording that scene together in the same room.
That's cool.
So they can see each other, they can react to each other, things like that. So that makes it more fluid and organic versus it is just reading a script a bunch of different ways and then they can take that and edit together. They are actually acting out the parts, not like they did with like Rango, if you ever saw the behind the scenes of that. But they're doing full cast recordings. So like, for example, Seth Rogen and John Cena play Bebop and Rocksteady. So they recorded those scenes that they're in together in the same room together.
That's cool.
Yeah,
like that.
so it's a pretty cool idea because like they obviously the cast is very large and varied, but to have them actually come together and record them just makes me feel like it's gonna be a better feel to in a more of like a live action than it would be for just recording. You know, like when you do like for example, the other Turtles movies that came out, the live action ones, air quotes live action, because the Turtles were obviously CG. They had the actors in mocap suits with the camera rig stuff on their faces and dots or whatever, and they were in the field, like in the actual out in the world with the other actors and doing things like that. And they had stunt people obviously performing a lot of the stuff because I'm pretty sure not all of them could do the things that they were doing. So that, you know, it's kind of like that, but like obviously fully animated, they just had them come in. So that's pretty exciting to see that they did that. That's pretty cool. Because I guess that's how a lot of the live action Lion King was made, was with the people in the same room together.
Okay.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And the fact that they got all these
really
people
cool.
together to actually work together with each other.
It's funny because you mentioned something like that, and if you were to ask me how ideally I think that they would do voice acting and whatnot is putting everybody into one room, because I know like I've seen like Futurama, you know, a lot of times they seem to, or even Family Guy, they seem to all record if they're all doing a scene together, they're all recording at the same time because, like you said, it seems to give a better organic interaction. But the vast reality of it is because one person's off doing something else, or you know, it was halfway across the world or something at any given time, they have to schedule things, and a lot of times they're just doing all of that stuff on their own. So having, it seems like you said, it would be a better or more organic experience to have everybody in the same place at the same time being able to record together. Not only that, you probably could get very good, well done what is written lines, but maybe even the one-off like improvised lines or something like that. I don't know if they really would allow that here, because I don't know if the animation's already pretty much done and they're just trying to match the voices to the animation, or if they're at the point where they can get the voices and then match the animation to the voices.
Yeah. I wasn't too sure how they did either, but
yeah, I think it does probably lead to a better, more organic experience having everybody in one room. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's rad as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I'm down for that shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, like, to your point, is like you could have more of that. Hey, let's run this as the script is written, and then we can play around with certain things. You know what I mean?
Right, because not one person is locked into this one thing. Now you have the ability, like, oh, so and so made this one joke or did something else, and here's the reaction that everybody else had. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty rad. So yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to bring up because I thought it was pretty rad.
Yeah.
But otherwise, that's it for this week's episode of Comes Naturally. We have been
Joe.
I have been Cody. And as usual, you fuckers just came naturally.